And if you have to use a platoon of first baseman, that's just going to take off more time for him. And is he really worth the money you're going to throw at him if he's only going to be a platoon player? He's going to come in, and then what are they going to do? Let's say he gets 2 at-bats. The team that you're facing pulls them, pulls their starting pitcher and comes in with a left-handed pitcher. You're gonna pull him for the rest of the game? I mean, honestly, is he really worth the risk? Is it really worth Ryan Howard being on this team? I mean, yeah, granted, the Phillies, they look kind of old as it is, but is this going to help them? Isn't it time to just say, hey, look, we had our chance, we had a nice run, it's time to start over again. I mean, Chase Utley, Ryan Howard, Jimmy Rollins, they're all mid to early 30s, which in baseball years is old. It's time to move on, Philadelphia. And it's time to admit it just didn't happen. You got 1 or 2 World Series, and that was great. But that's all you're going to get out of this team. You need to move on. You need to put young blood on that field. You need to put young blood on that bench. And I think Ryan Sandberg is going to have to be the sacrificial lamb to learn this. I said it before, and I'll say it again. The Phillies are setting Sandberg up to fail. They are, whether they're doing it intentionally or they just don't see it because Ruben Amaro is the worst GM in the world, I don't know. But they are setting Ryan Sandberg up to fail. They got rid of Charlie Manuel. They brought in Sandberg. And now they haven't made any moves. I mean, I've heard people I know on Facebook say, this is just like the early 2000, late 90s baseball team. There's nothing here. There's nothing young. This is all BS. It's time to give this team a chance to win, and they're not doing it. But hey. But speaking of the Phillies and their brilliant GM, which I just was, Ruben Amaro Jr. says there is not enough depth at center field, with just John Mayberry, the only player with major league experience at center field. That the Phillies will not look in free agency, but will rather trade for a center fielder. Is this a smart move? I mean, seriously? This goes back to, what are they doing? Are they intentionally setting Ryan Sandberg up to fail? Are they saying, well, and I mean, why? Here's another thing before I go to where I was going. Why would you not look in free agency before you go off trading something for a center fielder? Wouldn't you want to see what's available that you can sign, who's available that you can sign, and then not have to trade away a player for? See if the guy you got off of free agency is worth it. If he's not, then you go and make a trade. Wouldn't it make more sense to go free agency, then trade, if you need to trade? But, I mean, that's just me, I guess, because it's just me, I guess, because I'm not a Phillies general manager or a general manager of baseball team in general. To me, and I'm just an observer, it just makes more sense to look in free agency and then look at possible trades. If you don't see what you like, then you do a possible trade. But, hey, what do I know? Hit me up, tell me what you think. Now, this one I just don't get. I just don't get this one. The barrel of the bat that Roger Clemens threw at Mike Piazza during Game 2 of the 2000 World Series is up for auction. The bat is on auction until February 22nd of this year. And the going price as of today is $4,000. Would you buy this bat? Would you even want this bat? And why would you pay $4,000 plus for this artifact? I mean, if you want to waste $4,000, you know what? Give it to me. I can use that $4,000 for something. I can almost guarantee you I will find something better to use that $4,000 on. I got bills I can use that $4,000 on. I don't know about you. But would you really spend $4,000 on this bat? And that's just for today. It could go up. I mean, it could be at $7,000 tomorrow. Where's enough? I mean, you tell me. Is it worth? Would you be spending this much money? Well, football fans, and more importantly, the 5 Cleveland Browns fans that is official, that are out there, it is official. Former Bills linebackers coach Jim O'Neill has been hired for the defensive coordinator position. The Browns will also retain special teams coordinator Chris Tobar. Now, all the Browns need is an offensive coordinator, and the coaching staff is set. Well, so they got a defense coordinator, they got a head coach. Why do you need an offensive coordinator? Why doesn't the head coach take over the offensive coordinator's job as well? You don't want to call plays. Okay, that's fine, but... And yeah, there is still time. I mean, you still got the Super Bowl, but wouldn't you want your entire staff in there and ready to go as soon as possible? Tell me. I mean, am I looking at this wrong? And, I mean, it seems like the Browns have had problems filling a coaching staff up. But, hey, it's them, it's their fans, it's their decision. But would you take any positions on the Cleveland Browns if they came to you and offered it? Let me know. Do you have a problem with Marshawn Lynch not really talking today during media day? I mean, so what? As he said, I don't talk to the media. I let my play do the talking. I have more respect for a player that says it that way than half these players that run their mouths and then can't back it up. I mean, there's players like that have played and that still play. There's players that say, I'm the best, I'm the greatest in the world, and then you get them in the big game and they're nowhere to be found. They get gator arms, they throw up, they fumble the ball at the 1 yard line, whatever. They don't show up. But this guy, he's saying, you know what? I'm not going to talk to you people. I'm not going to talk to the fans. I'm not going to talk to the media. I'm going to let my game on Sunday prove it to itself. You know what? I respect that. The NFL even said, you know what? We're not gonna fine him for not talking on media day. It's about damn time. I mean, you fine everybody else for everything else. About time you didn't fine him for not wanting to talk to the media. But on a sad note, Eagles fans, former Eagles team president Harry Gamble passed away this morning. Gamble served as team president from 1986 to 1994. Prior to coming to the Eagles, Gamble coached at Lafayette University from 1967 to 1970, and then the University of Pennsylvania from 1971 to 1980. My heart, prayers, and thoughts go out to his family. Anybody that has lost a loved one, I'm pretty sure your thoughts go out to his family as well. But, hey, that's a sad thing. Today, Jonathan Martin, the offensive lineman who left the Miami Dolphins and had the NFL look into this bullying on the team, spoke to Tony Dungy. You can catch the entire interview tomorrow on NBC Sports Pro Football. Do you think Martin or Richie Incognito have gotten a bad rap from this? Do you think either one will ever see another game in the NFL? I mean, I'm sorry. If Jonathan Martin can't take a little hazing in the NFL from his teammates and brought this into the light, I guarantee you no team is going to touch him. Because they're going to sit there and go, well, what if our players don't treat him right? What's he going to do? Is he going to go crying to the NFL? And no player is going to want him on the team because they're not going to know how to react. Now, Richie Incognito, I think his career's done because he's had former teammates come out and say, you know what, he is a bully. He's taken things a little too far. So, I mean, in that aspect, I think he's done. So, I think this whole thing has blown up both their careers. I think they're both pretty much done in the NFL. So, but let me know what you think. Would you take either one of them on your team? Do you think either one of them could help your team? So, let me know. I don't think I would take either one. I don't think it's worth the risk. So, but the Carolina Panthers have given head coach Ron Rivera a 3-year extension, which will keep Rivera with the team through 2017. Is this a good move after missing the playoffs the last 2 seasons and starting this year at 1-3? I mean, yes, the team woke up, they won, they beat the New Orleans Saints, they won the division. But is it really a smart move? Wouldn't you maybe sign him to a 1-year extension? And if he does close to what he did today or this year, then you can do another extension. And if he wouldn't take a 1-year extension, then you say, you know what? Oh well, we'll just go somewhere else. But to me, I would not have done a 3-year extension. I would have done a 1 year and see how it goes, and then offered him a longer extension. Well, after Monday's show, I had 2 listeners and myself debate on my Facebook page about which way to go in this year's draft for the Houston Texans. And one says quarterback, another says defense. And I honestly think that it depends on what kind of coach you have. The Texans took Bill O'Brien, who's an offensive coordinator, so yeah, I would go with quarterback. But I don't think I would take Johnny Manziel. I would take Bridgewater from Louisville. He seemed like a more well-rounded player. He seemed like he had seemed like he had better mechanics, and he just seemed like the better, longer-lasting lifespan in the NFL than Johnny Manziel. So to me, I would take Bridgewater. Now, if you have a defensive-minded coach, yes, I would definitely take a defensive player like Clooney from South Carolina, because, I mean, that man can hit. There's no doubt about it. Anybody that saw 2 years ago when South Carolina took on Michigan and saw how he, literally just planted the running back from Michigan, I mean, he literally planted him. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. And he made a career out of those hits. I would take him. But again, I think you build your team around what your strengths. And Bill O'Brien, offensive-minded coach, he's going to stick with the offense. He's going to take a quarterback. And to me, I would take Bridgewater over Manziel. What do you think about either way? But I'm about ready to, with time about rounding up, Philly fans, I'm going to give you some local scores. The Flyers actually won a game, so you know that's amazing. They beat the Detroit Red Wings 5-0, and the New Jersey Devils lost to the St. Louis Blues 3-0. those were the only local games for tonight. And that about does it for me. This is John Jeff signing off.